Luka Nation. It's like once a month where Andrew gives me this treat, the ability to kind of go off on my own and do an intro. It's like being able to eat dessert before the meal when the parents allow you to do that. It just happens once, and you got to savor it. And I don't get to do this that often because, he makes fun of me and tells me my intros are too long. They're not intros; they're whole episodes. So, and then the guest has to leave, and it's like a whole to do. So I'm very happy today. I'm happy it's Easter and miracles happen. And the miracle that's happened today is Andrew's letting me do the intro, Luka Nation. I love it. So I got to say, miracles, they usually come in pairs or maybe even threes, right? So the other thing the hobby is hoping for, the other miracle we're hoping for is a viable alternative to the train wreck that is PSA. Okay? Now, I said it. You didn't, Tyler. And I'm going to introduce our guest in a second because he's not going to say that, but I can say it because, I've been a user of PSA and most grading companies for quite some time. And, I was angry in the beginning of March when they raised their prices. I was even angrier at the end of March when they reversed course and basically shut down Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. And you can look at me, guys. I like chocolate. So shutting down the factory is not a good thing. So what we did was we said, you know what? We had Tyler on. We were one of the lucky few to have Tyler on from Hybrid Grading HGA. And we said, what better time to get him back on, talk about whether or not, he's making any changes, anything in response to what PSA is doing, how's his company doing since the last time we sat down with him, and to see whether or not this is something that we can recommend to folks as just an alternative to PSA. So there's one of my typical 3-minute intros. And without further ado, we're bringing on Tyler from Hybrid Grading. What's up, Tyler? Welcome.
Thank you.
So, to say that it's been a little crazy here is understatement, right? And we've been watching you, man. We've been watching your stuff since the last time you come on, and you will start to write off. You've increased the amount of cards that you're taking in weekly. Is that correct?
Yep, we have. Yeah, we originally started. I don't know if we were at 800 or 1200 the first time I talked to you all, but we're over 5,500 now.
Wow, per week. So under 1,000 now up to 5,500. Is there a short-term goal? Is the goal to, end of year get up to 10,000 a week? Is end of, summertime? Is there some kind
of? So by June 1st, we want to be at 10,000 a week. By the end of the year, we want to be over 30,000 a week. We're expanding to multiple locations. We're actually in talks right now. The past couple of days, especially, trying to, speed up the process of actually opening some other locations.
So Tyler, let's talk about this with our listening audience with Luka Nation here, right? Because I think you're doing it the right way, and you're doing it differently than anybody else is doing. Even though you see the potential dollar signs out there, you are proceeding with caution and with restraint. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
So what Hybrid's doing, guys, is I guarantee that they could get 30,000 cards this week if they wanted to. Easily. Probably get 30,000 cards today if they wanted to. Yeah. But they're not doing it. Why? Because it's one thing to take in everything you take in. It's another thing to be able to actually process that stuff. So talk us through that, Tyler. How'd you come up with the limitations? How is it working for you? And how are you expanding? How do you plan to expand to meet that end of year 30,000 a week goal?
Okay. When I set out, one of the biggest reasons, as I told you all before, was, the turnaround time started getting outrageous. The only way you can either meet your expectations is to have enough employees or to limit your submissions. And obviously it's going to be hard. PSA is 500 employees on the PSA side, and they couldn't keep up. There's no way I could start up a company and start with 500 employees overnight. And even with that, they fell behind. So our goal is just to always just limit submissions. And that's going to be our mantra going forward. I'll never go away from that because I want to make sure we're hitting our turnaround times. The only way we continue to increase is by hiring, training, recruiting. We're recruiting from people. We've moved people from already 5 different states here. So we're continuing to recruit, hire, expand. We're setting up more locations. Sky's the limit for us. Any given week with our new customers coming on board, there's between 100 and 150,000 cards added per week on our site.
Wow. And anybody who hasn't done it, right, there's a time that you can log in and do it. Can you walk us through the process for anybody who's new to it?
Yep. On Thursdays and Fridays, right now we have our submissions. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday. You need to create an account beforehand and go ahead and get your order ready to go. And then 15 minutes prior to the launch time, we set up a queue, kind of like NBA Top Shot. and you log in, and then at 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock, it will automatically give you a random lottery number in line. And so it doesn't matter if you got in at 8:45, it doesn't give you a better chance of somebody logging in at 8:59. It just randomly generates you a spot in line, and then it's just first come, first serve from there.
So if you have your order ready to go in the system, if you get selected, if you're in there, you can put it in. Can you save that order kind of like for next try? Like if you missed Thursday, is it in there Friday? You got to put it in again.
Yeah, we have it set up to where you can save 4 orders at a time on our website. So when you get in, you can go ahead and just pick which one of the 4 orders you want to go ahead and submit.
Nice. So it's easy, guys. There's no reason not to do it. If you have these cards sitting there and you were planning on sending them to somebody else, get on there and get an order ready in the account, and hopefully you get selected. And what Tyler's saying here is they're building up before they expand their numbers they're taking in a week. So they're going to expand their capacity. They'll know they can take on another 100, 200,000 submissions before they open the floodgates. That's the right way to do it. Instead of opening the floodgates and then trying to expand and trying to build up after the fact. I love it. So I'm going to pivot real quick, and then I'll turn this over to Andrew because I've kind of monopolized the first 8 minutes here, and normally I don't do that. But the biggest thing, besides the turnaround times, for somebody who's going to be investing in a company, and putting their cards in your slabs, right, and not worrying about trying to crack them out and crossing them over, it's getting some level of credibility to your slabs, to getting some longevity in the hobby, so that they're actually comparing to people who've been around for a while, and that's going to be your biggest hill to climb, right? Because PSA's been around forever. They're the standard bearer. Even SGC's been around a while. Beckett's obviously got a name to it. SGC, they all they all have CSG. They all have, especially them with comics and the whole deal. They all have credibility. You guys are just starting up. The one thing that I think you have going for you right now is the pricing. Right? People want to look at the pricing, and pricing 2 ways. 1, you're not killing people on how much you're charging a grade, but 2, more importantly, the price that people are getting with their cards in your slabs. Because that's really what you look at. How much are we going to pay? How long am I going to wait? And then what am I going to get when it's in an HGA slab? Because putting it in a slab doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be able to sell it to even recoup how much I'm getting. And what we've noticed is, at least for the time being, and maybe it's because it's a limited supply out there, your cards are selling pretty close to what PSA cards sell for, and in some instances higher. So I have one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is me because I'm a conspiracy nut. Are you buying the cards higher on eBay to make them look like they're being sold for more? Are you shilling your own stuff or what?
That'd be what we're doing.
Just gotta make sure,
Yeah. If we were buying our own stuff, and that's why I tell people all the time, because we get accused of this weekly. I'm like, 10 weeks later, like if we're still doing that, I mean, somebody would have already been able to crack the code and see we're buying it. Everybody knows who's buying their cards. I don't own any. I don't have any of my own cards graded. So I wish I did, but I don't. So like I said, I'm trying to run a very clean business, and no, we don't shill bid our own stuff.
It's amazing how that stuff, how it goes out there. I say it myself, because I mean, what would be your, and this maybe it'll be a good way for you to advertise your company. Tell me why you think someone would pay more for your slab than for a PSA slab of the same card.
Accuracy.
Accuracy
and consistency. It looks better. So aesthetics. If you're a true PC and you want your card to look better, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I feel like our slabs look 1,000 times better, and they're a lot more solid than PSA. I don't know if y'all have had them in hand or seen them in person, but they're a lot more solid. They're a lot better looking than PSA slabs. So between aesthetics and consistency, I mean, I think people understand that computers need to be in this field. We're one of the few fields that there's no computers really used inside the grading industry. So I think, going forward, I think there's a group of people who believe like, okay, this is the future, and they're jumping on the train before it gets going. So I think we're going.
I lied. We're 10 minutes in. I said I was going to hand it over to Andrew. I got 2 more. Number 1, I noticed some stuff going on online where it was like AI, artificial intelligence versus computers, right? And I'm stupid, and I'm an old man, and I grew up before there were computers, let alone AI, right? And people were like saying, "Oh, you advertised AI, but it's really just computer scanning." Like, can you touch on that for a second?
Yeah, we put up a big statement on our Facebook page, but I'll go ahead. So we do use computer scanning. All it does is it takes when we scan the card, it puts it into our computer, so we can then run our software, which is our AI software. We run it to analyze and actually grade the card. So it's not like we scan it and then we just have a bigger picture of it. We're like, okay, now we can see it better. That's not how it's done at all. I spent over $2 million. We had neural network people working on it. We had all kinds of network developers, computer developers, software developers. We had a whole group of people who had to work on this project. So to say that we have nothing like that, it's frustrating. But, we're getting to the point where we're about to finish all the patents and everything with everything that we can. And then we'll be able to, release more information about it and more videos and tutorials and stuff to show you how it works.
Okay, easy enough. So, I just want to address that because I know it was something out there. And then the last one I have, and Andrew, it's all on you after that, is have you switched it up at all? Has the recent changes in PSA, have you reacted to that in any way? Have you changed anything you're doing, or you're just tunnel vision, blinders on, we have a path that we're doing and we're sticking to it?
Oh, no, I keep up with the industry. 100% I keep up with. I know everything that's going on. I hear about it. People talk. But it doesn't change what we're doing as a company. Our path was, strong, and our great growth rate's strong. We're looking to grow faster if it's even possible. But no, we're not changing anything, because if I change anything, if I change pricing or anything, it's just, to me, it's greed, and that's not who I am. I wanted a better collector's company, something that people could be proud of, And that's kind of, we're not going to change or start being like, okay, let's, figure out a way to take bulk or economy and y'all just sit and flood us. And, I'm not here for a money reach. I'm here to, provide a long-term stable company and grow with the consumers. So
hypothetically, you're not going to say, hey, because this happened, we're tripling our prices. No, you're not
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And you're not going to also just open the floodgates and say, you know what, we were growing at a pretty good pace, but, there's more cards out there now. We got to go and grab them now and then mess yourself up. All right.
No, there's 600,000 or 700,000 cards in our queue right now. That's millions and millions of dollars we could take in, but it's not the way I want my business ran. So I won't take them in until they can get through the queue.
Listen, guys, that's important for you to hear. And obviously, if you check this one out on our YouTube channel as well, that way you could see Tyler, right? This guy, I believe him. I believe what Tyler's saying here. And that's important, Tyler, because and it's good that you're doing this stuff out there, because you have 600,000 millions of dollars you can take in. Think of how much money in assets that is, that people are trusting you with to put in your slabs, right? And it's beyond the slabs and the resale. It's they're putting their faith and their money in your company, right? And it's I think I'm grateful to have you on, and I'm thankful to be able to tell this your story for you, as part of what we do here in the episode. I would have no hesitation sending you my cards, because I don't think you're going anywhere. And that's Absolutely the key, right? And that, to me, that's what I need confidence in.
Right. No, I appreciate that.
Cage, I'm enjoying this conversation because, is my internet a little glitchy?
No.
Is my internet?
You're the Walter Cronkite. Because my internet. I'm like the dummy here. Who does Cronkite have a Howard Stern like a silly sidekick? No, right? He's just so old news.
Well, I think what made Cronkite, I'm not familiar with him. I'm a Larry King guy myself.
He and I we used to go out for drinks every Thursday when he was young. Me and Cronkite.
There's some topics that you know more about and some that you don't, and you want to learn. So grading isn't something that I knew a ton about when I got into the hobby. I knew that there were two players 1 year ago, BGS and PSA, and that was that. And I met SGC and their reps at an event, and they said, hey, we're really making a push to be that third player in the space. So I didn't know a lot about grading. You've been grading for a long time, so I enjoy this conversation between you and Tyler. I'm curious, Tyler, you're a serial entrepreneur. I don't believe this was your first or even second business. I think you've been in business for a long time. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of industries that are as responsive, as emotional, as passionate as the sports card hobby, and crazy. I'm curious.
He's trying to say we're crazy. We're crazy.
Yeah,
you said it, not me. I use bipolar. If things are going well, we're going to the moon. If things are going poorly, the hobby's done. And this could be like a Monday and then a Friday. It's that extreme. So I'm wondering, one part of you, stay in your lane, execute, but at the same time, you got to know what your competitors are doing, right?
Right.
So when SGC 3x their prices, and when PSA raised their prices and then did the submission kind of, hey, we're pausing till July. As a company, what was the messaging like? What was the conversations internally with the employees like?
I just told them, don't let the outside noise affect us. It doesn't matter what they're doing. We can't control what they're doing. We're going to control what we can do. And our vision, my vision for the company is going to be the same. It doesn't matter if PSA opens back up and they say we have 2,000 employees, send everything to us. We're still going to maintain our focus and what we're doing. SGC tripling prices. We're not changing prices. There's no reason for us to change prices. When we came out, a lot of people were like, well, you're more expensive than you should be, we think. And now all of a sudden we're the cheapest option there is. Like I said, we came out and, I was very set. We did a lot of market research about, every little bit of this. This was not something, like I said, it's not something I threw together in a couple of weeks and said, hey, let's try it. Let's see if we can make something. We've had millions of dollars into this company before we ever opened. And, we don't have to change anything. And our vision is one way, and my employees, as of tomorrow morning, we'll be over 70 employees.
Wow.
And that's 70 employees in-house. On the backside, we have another 20. So we're pushing by the end of next week, by the following Monday for sure, we'll be over 100 employees total from the company. And, you're talking a 3-month-old company. So the outpouring of support has been great, but we don't let the outside world affect what we're doing. We know our vision, we know what we're capable of, and we just focus on that.
One of the things when you came on, you even emulated Top Shot in terms of how they run their queue, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I think has benefited NFTs and digital collectibles is how much friction there is in the sports card space, especially with grading. You send in a card, for example, to PSA, you would send in a card, you wouldn't know when you would get it back, and simultaneously you would get charged on the back end with the upcharge as well, which I think was just ludicrous.
Right.
How are you, if at all, are you looking at NFTs? Are you looking at Top Shot? Do you feel that they're your competition? Are they adjacent to your business? How do you view them from your business?
Business perspective, I feel like they're a completely different market. I know it's still sports cards and sports memorabilia, and but I feel like it's a completely different industry than what we're doing. I feel like a lot of people in there right now are looking to flip, and I don't want to speak too much on Top Shot because I don't know enough about them. I've done a little research on them. I'm not a huge NFT guy. I like having stuff in my hand. So really I don't think it's comparable. I don't think anybody's leaving cards to go to the digital world.
There are, I think, avenues to learn from it, though. And that's just a business thing, right? The queue,
Right.
You probably have the queue at the same time, or you look at how they're doing a queue, and,
Yeah.
if it works, you can take something off that. Not the NFT space, but, I think
Right.
it's great that we have so many other people in our hobby, even the tangential stuff like that, because, it's something that works there, we can always bring it over.
Right.
So, I'm with you on a lot of what you're saying as far as...
what about Cage?
Yeah,
just for an idea where I was going, and this is completely an idea. So in NFTs, a big thing is mint, right? Like the first mint and the jersey number mint are really, really valuable. In sports cards, couldn't the same thing be applied? Like this is the first card graded by us, right? The first mint of a Joe Burrow silver PSA 10. And this is just an idea. This is just interesting. But the first mint has been something that's super sought after. I'm curious, if the first of the kind, of that, the first LeBron Prism 2021 graded this year, couldn't that have a special kind of HGA grade or SGA HGA kind of tag to it? Am I completely out of bounds?
No, it definitely could. Yeah, we could always, because we have people already, as soon as Prism popped, people were messaging me directly, hey, can I overnight this directly to you so I can have the first one? So it is something, definitely people are wanting to have the first card of everything graded. So it's not terrible.
They sell for insane amounts. Cage, unless you have anything else, we could go talk a little bit about the custom slabs, because I think that's kind of cool, and I don't think that gets enough media attention from my perspective, is how cool your slabs actually are. Like, I don't know if you guys get the compliments you deserve. And I would actually argue that a lot of like the old LCS guys that don't love the new innovation, they might be against these really nicely designed slabs. But I personally, from an outside perspective, think the slab design is so cool, and how you can customize it and how you have a little bit of say in what it looks like. I think it's kind of cool. Have you guys gotten that feedback as well?
Yeah, most people love it. We have people all day long writing with ideas about what they want on theirs, and we're actually adding, as of Thursday and Friday, we'll have a custom option to where you can click it, and then it lets our, like I don't know if you've seen the Tua or any of the custom ones we've done, but so now you can just click that, and our designers will be able to do full customs for you.
Wow. Colors, choices, you name
Colors
it.
and choices
Design.
and everything. We'll let them actually have a little blank to where they can kind of, put what they would like to see on it, and then it just gives our designers an idea or something to go with. We have 10 in-house designers already, and we're trying to bring on about 6 more.
That's a cool thing that, by the way, that's not going to be added to this stuff. I mean, right now, PSA, the slabs or SGC slabs, there are old slabs and new slabs. There's lighthouse labels. That's security stuff. Obviously, you have that in yours, and you have that built in as well. But, people pay a premium for a newer label. It's got a cleaner look. I wonder whether or not people are going to start to pay premiums for, that's a Tua, but it's got like the dolphin color label to it. I'm going to pay a couple bucks more for that on eBay than I would pay for just the vanilla, standard color, slab. That's a pretty cool thing. It's adding another level of scarcity to things, an artificial scarcity almost, right? It's, like color, like the team color matching on a card. You know what I mean? Like, this is Luka, it's a blue. So the team's blue, it's blue sells for more, like that kind of stuff. So
and I think that's kind of what helps our eBay sales. I mean, people are, they really like the look of a slab. They're going to pay more for it. And it just, you can look at the number of watchers on ours, and it's pretty incredible, the numbers of watchers on ours versus other people's, and I watch YouTube videos of people, comparing our slabs to other company slabs and stuff. And the number of watchers typically on like one of our slabs is much higher, usually about 60% higher than the watchers of the exact identical slab through PSA or BGS.
It doesn't surprise me. That's people doing research.
Right.
I watch a lot of your stuff, even though I've never bought one.
I got you.
It's because I'm trying to do my due diligence before I dive head first, feet first, both arms, all 3 legs. I'm going to dive into the HGA because I want to see.
Well, Cage, you have a better shot of getting a Top Shot pack than getting into the HGAQ.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I don't get Top Shot packs. But listen, you got to be in it to win it. That's the thing, right? So you got to be in it to win it, and you got to be on there Thursday night. I have told people to get it. My local mailman who wants to grade a couple of his cards, and he's like, I'm not sending this to PSA, waiting 3 years. I told him about you guys. And it leads me into a really good question also, which is, I imagine it's somewhere on your website, but just briefly, limitations on what you do and do not grade. Is that somewhere, like what kind of cards can grade?
We're adding that this week. So we brought on a copyright that's going to literally just go through our website and spruce it up and add more detailed frequently asked question page, our grading scale, everything more in depth this week. But no, so we don't grade Pokemon, Marvel, and all that yet. We've done some, examples and samples. We're going to release a date on Monday. So tomorrow we're releasing a date on when we're going to start taking those. We have a lot of big stuff coming down the line with that. So we don't grade mini cards. We don't grade jumbo cards. We grade any normal size card all the way up to 360 point.
Okay. So normal size and sport.
Yep.
But we're thinking about potentially expanding to Pokemon and expanding to.
We're looking about 4 to 6 weeks out, and I'll announce the date tomorrow on Pokemon.
Nice. All right. Listen, that's cool, and it's great that it's coming on the website too. Because I got random stuff, so I'll be keeping an eye on when you expand to that stuff. I mean, we're talking about Hasbro shit from the '80s for old toys and stuff, and I'm like, I want to grade this,
Right.
Cool in one of your slabs, but I'll probably have to wait till the end of the year on that. But it's great to see though that you're taking steps to expand the types of cards that you're grading as well, which is
always.
Okay.
Tyler, something that so we're on the Discord, NBA Top Shot Discord all the time, and it's been out of control recently with all of the market dropping. But one consistent theme is Top Shot doesn't incentivize collectors and incentivizes flippers. I'm curious if you guys track this or maybe have a rough framework. How many people send to you that get the cards graded and sell on eBay versus how many people send to you, get the slab back, and then they're holding it? Is that something that you guys are keeping track of and curious about?
No, we can't. I don't think there's a way for us to keep track of it unless unless we did a quick questionnaire. I mean. The only way I can check right now is just jumping on eBay, seeing how many are for sale or in the marketplace and stuff. But no, I haven't actually thought about that yet.
You know what's funny,
Well,
Andrew? It's a great question. It's something I would think about, but it's amazing that Tyler's not, and we shouldn't be surprised, right? So this is the second guest we've had on recently who is killing it in the hobby with their own business. Jack from Cardboard Gold was on, and Tyler's on also. And I'm amazed by this, guys. And Luka Nation, just listen to this for a second. Let me run. These are guys who are going to make a killing in this hobby because they had great ideas and they stuck to what their plan, right? They made a plan, they researched it, they invested in it. But Tyler's not a cardboard guy. I mean, you don't have your own slabs. You're not grading your own cards, which is great because, you can't say that about every company. Jack was like, I don't know what Prism is, he told me. And this is the guy who is creating Cardboard Gold, right? He's creating the semi-rigids that everyone's sending these things in, right? And he's like, what's Prism, But it's amazing to hear that because you're not going to get bogged down in the noise. You have a plan, you have a vision, and you execute on it. And I think that's amazing too, because listen, Andrew's always telling me also the same kind of thing. It's like, don't get stuck in the day to day, because I'll be like, oh, Top Shot's up, Top Shot's down. Oh, my eBay sales. Oh, look at Golden Auctions last night. Oh, look at this, look at that. And he's like, dude, just like take a little bit of a wider view of this stuff. And I think you're able to kind of, just avoid all of that noise and nonsense and just execute on your deliverables. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a lot more. It's something I can control. So I focus on my business. There's stuff I can control in there, and we focus on that.
Who was Tyler before all of this? Who was Tyler, in high school and college?
I don't.
He's not going to tell you. I don't remember.
I had a very unique childhood, and
well, fine. Can I go a different direction with
Bourne who he is? He's going to have to shoot you. I mean, clearly, if he answers that question, he has to kill you. I mean, that's the way this is.
He doesn't know where I'm at. And he will never find me.
You will never get this.
Can I go a different direction?
Never get this.
Can I go a different direction with it?
Yeah, you can ask. Yeah.
Well, the reasoning behind it, I always like to let people know my intention. So there's a lot of young aspiring entrepreneurs in the hobby.
Right.
Okay. And when you're young, you take shortcuts, you look for, the quick wins, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you could put on your mentor hat, what would you say to a younger entrepreneur, Tyler, or someone coming up in the hobby that wants to make this a 10, 15-year run, but they're in year 1 or 2?
Okay, so I just actually had a guy come down and meet with me just a couple of days ago. He has an idea within the hobby, and he's like, I'm thinking about giving it up. And the big thing I tell everybody is always take chances. You're going to regret the chances you don't take. This was a huge chance, for me opening HGA. I knew there was a big potential for failure. But I know me, and I'll bet on myself any day that I'll overcome any obstacle and place in front of me because I'll outwork. I'm smart. I have no issue finding somebody smarter than me to help me with issues I can't overcome. And I have no issues putting people in the right place. So I've always been an entrepreneur at heart ever since I was 18. I had a kid in high school. And ever since then, I had to grow up fast. I worked hard, trying to get ahead, trying to provide a life for my children that I didn't have growing up. But I've got 5 kids now, so it's a lot of work to try to provide for 5. But no, my big thing is, always take chances. If you have an idea, do your due diligence, do your planning, make sure you have a good team behind you because you can't do everything alone.
Well, you're providing for 7, 5 kids, yourself and your wife, and She did an amazing job on that Instagram video. Last time we met, you weren't even doing social media, and now hybrid grading is on Instagram, hybrid grading is on the web. So you've made a push on social media, and she's doing a great job with it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all the credit she gets.
Well, my wife, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little confused. My wife's not on Instagram.
Look at this.
Oh, who was the young lady on?
If my wife sees this, I'm gonna be in trouble now. Thank you. Great. No, that's one of my employees. That she's my assistant. Her name's Savannah.
She did a great job.
I love it. To Tyler's wife, we are sorry. It is Easter. We love you.
If I go missing, guys, now you know it's Andrew's fault.
To the 500,000 slabs, the 500,000 slabs in the queue that are not going to get done now because Tyler has been murdered. It's Andrew's fault. I will tell you where to locate him in Mexico.
I was trying to figure out what you were talking about. I'm like, oh, he's talking about Savannah. That's come along.
Well, you see so many family businesses in the hobby. I made an assumption. I had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's wrap with this.
you know what that
Let's wrap
does.
with
It
this.
makes an
And
ass out of umptions. So you got to be careful when you do that, man.
It makes an ass out of me, but I've done that before. Let's wrap with this, Cage, unless you have any
Yeah,
questions.
no, go for it.
We've interviewed so many people now. You know, we're going on 271 episodes. We're probably at 50 plus, maybe 75 guests for
That's
those.
awesome.
Thank you. We hear a lot of success stories, but behind the success stories are some failures that people aren't always inclined to share. You know, before it was, 5 successful businesses making 50 million, it was that 1 or 2 failures. You know, what are some things that aren't going great with HGA, or what are some things that you need help with HGA? You know, what are some things if I'm on the other end and I want to help and be a part of what you're building, I could reach out to you with? Could you talk about that a little bit?
Really, right now, there's nothing we're struggling with. I mean, it's just getting employees here. The hardest part's just finding more employees, really. But I've got 2 recruiters, a national recruiter and a local recruiter that's bringing me tons of employees. And we have it set up to where they're helping with relocation assistance and everything. So I don't feel like we're struggling with anything. We're bringing in tons and tons of recruits from all over the country every day. We have people flying in and out, meeting with them to, add to our team.
It's amazing.
Tennessee, right? That's where you're at?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Tennessee and Texas, I hear, are the 2 places that a lot of people are relocating right now. Something about those. Tennessee's an awesome place to live, right?
Yeah, I love it here.
People don't realize how long, wide Tennessee is. There's actually two time zones, man. I had an office in Nashville and an office in Knoxville, and tried to staff the 2 of them with the same people from a support level, and it did not work. They're in literally different clocks.
Yep.
So it's a wide expanse, Tennessee. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and what are you hiring for? What positions? In case someone from our community is looking for something and they want to be a part of what you're building.
Everything. And when I say everything, our goal is to be at 300 employees by the end of the year. So when I say everything, I mean, we're just taking our normal 70 and we need to replicate them another 3 or 4 times.
So Tyler, taking it away from the grading and the cards and the hobby for just a business, you get your blinders on, you get your business on there, right? So one of the things that I'd be concerned with if I were in your shoes, and maybe this is why I'm not an entrepreneur and you are, is we're in a period now of sustained growth, steady growth for the last couple of years. And you have taken made a conscious effort to build steadily over time with goals that you're hitting on a week-to-week basis, how many cards you're coming in with. But as you expand, you are building your staff up, you're building your spend up. You're going to continue to meet that. I could be wrong. It's great that you're doing it that way. That way you're not going to disappoint anyone. You're still going to meet your goals. But if there's any kind of a fall off in demand for your product, and that could be not an HGA thing, just an overall demand for grading of cards for a myriad of reasons, then it's problematic for someone who's expanding. Now, you get to come at this with a different eyeball. Everybody else that we have on here, they tell us how the hobby's not going anywhere. We're in the first inning. There's great things going on with the hobby. These cards are this, Panini's this. You won't come at it from that perspective. You got to come at it from the due diligence you did from a business standpoint, not from a cardboard standpoint. Right. So you're actually going to have a different vision here, or a different answer for me as to why you think it's not going anywhere. I'd love to hear it.
I mean, the one thing we're looking at is just pure analytics. When we're doing any type of businesses we do, it's pure analytics. We're looking at the number of, we're pulling statistics across, number of boxes sold, number of collectors across the U.S., how fast the markets are growing. So we follow Facebook pages, we track their growth. We have a whole line of statisticians, analytics, behind us. And also, we're trying to expand into multiple countries by the end of the year as well. So we're going into Canada and Australia by the end of the year. So we're also going to leverage our U.S. economy by accessing other economies. So if our market slows down here, we'll have other markets to balance as the trends go up and down.
So you might want to rethink Australia. I found out recently that they don't actually have bloomin' onions in Australia. So I wouldn't know that it's like an outback thing. It's not like a real thing in Australia. So I'm going to go. That's it. Got to move somewhere else.
New Zealand. We'll go to New Zealand now. There we go.
We love you, Australia. We got a lot of listeners in Australia, so it'd be great. I'm sure they'd be thrilled to have you down there. Tyler,
Yep.
I mean, listen, it's great because, listen, I can tell people this hobby's not going anywhere. You know, our cardboard people who are vested in this can tell people, you know, you're vested in it as well, obviously, because you are a cardboard reliant business. But
Right.
you will have a different data pool. You'll have a different analysis. And it's great to hear about analytics. It's great to hear about Facebook groups. Your business is going to be contingent on the steady growth of this, and not because you're going to come in here and say, well, I have this Michael Jordan PSA 10 and I want it to go up in value, so I'm going to say we're in the second inning. You have
Right.
a business. You're basing your business on the data that you're looking at, that this is early
Yep.
on, and we're going to be able to keep growing. And I'm sure our audience who has the cards and they're investing in this business continuing, this hobby continuing, they're going to want to hear that too. So thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Oh, for
What
sure.
up, Andrew?
Last question, Tyler. When you're not working, what do you like to do for fun? You know, are you a whiskey and a cigar guy? You kick back and relax. Do you go to the gun range? Do you do yoga? What's Tyler like when he's outside of work?
Whiskey and golf
What's he do?
course.
Whiskey and golf.
course.
There we go. Usually
That's it.
Scotch, I guess, but
Whiskey on the golf course. Then you play better.
yeah,
That's the key.
absolutely. Yeah, that's the key.
I love it.
Yeah, I learned because I get I'm way too competitive, and once I make a bad shot, then it's in my head. You know, the Scotch, typically Scotch, usually mellows me out enough to keep me, you know, playing decent around 150.
So Andrew, take a guess on his Scotch. Take a guess. What Scotch? What Scotch is Tyler? Just take a look, size him up, and say, what Scotch is Tyler? I'm gonna guess he's a Lagavulin guy.
I'm thinking about his Ferrari.
You're gonna say Eddie Glenn.
Glenn
Any Glenn will do.
I'm thinking about the next question. I wanted to know how he felt when he got his first Ferrari.
When I bought my first Ferrari,
Yes.
that's a whole nother business. That's a business that actually failed. When I bought 11 supercars at once about a year and a half ago, and then people started wrecking them, and so I got rid of them all. So the first ones I actually bought were business related, so it was a difference of owning them for a business versus owning them personal. So never
Because that's
really
a cool event, like for like a bachelor party. You know what I mean? Like going and renting 4 cars and going around the track page. I don't know if you've seen that. That's
Many
such
times.
a cool activity. And so I have 2 things that I want to do for my bachelor party. That's one, and the second is to rent one of those like heavy kind of vehicles and go storm chasing, tornado chasing.
First,
Maybe
Tyler,
2 bachelor.
we have to rent him a fiance first before we rent a car. That's the problem.
You're right. Someone with my smile, my charisma, and just being an awesome guy. Can't find any lady friends.
Oh, come on. I see. Listen, we share DMs. I see what the ladies are saying to you. You don't have any problems with the ladies,
Dude.
man.
That's so embarrassing because I've reached out to like 5 different ladies on our Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze account because we share it. I always forget to switch over. So and
And then
Paige sees it.
sometimes I log in and I'm like, whoa, who is this? And my wife better not see this. It's like, you know, he's saying it. And I'm like, oh, no, this is not for me. I'm clearly not meeting this person in some place in Mexico to do that.
That's Tyler.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
This is a blast, man. Thank you for jumping on. I know it's a holiday. You're spending time with family. Thank you so much. I wish you all the success. We wish you from Luka Nation all the success. I hope people from our community are getting into the HGA queue and submitting their cards there. I know a few people have. Reckless Cards, for example, is one of them. So thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you jumping on today.
Thanks for having us back on.
Thanks, Tyler. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Luka Nation.
Happy Easter. See you
Take care,
guys.
everybody.